Hello, my name is BIT354 and my student ID is S1499447. Today I will be discussing the assignment on system hardening techniques in the network vulnerability and penetration testing unit. For this assignment, we will choose from a set of pre-selected operating systems, among which I decided to go with Linux distribution, since Linux is the most used operating system when it comes to servers, with almost 75% of the servers in the world running Linux. Specifically, I decided to use the Ubuntu 16.04 operating system, which I will be using to demonstrate the chosen hardening techniques. So in this video, I will be doing a walkthrough on the 8 techniques I choose for system hardening. In the background, the internet has become ubiquitous in modern lives. The world is becoming increasingly dependent on the online service provided by many organizations. The security systems is becoming a challenge for system administrators to tackle against different attackers. Every system on the internet is somewhat vulnerable to security attacks. The threats range from human errors to sophisticated attacks by coordinated cybercriminals. According to the data breach investigations reported by Version, the primary motivation for the cyber attackers is financial, whether you run an e-commerce project or a simple small business website. The risk of a potential attack is there. Each malicious attack on your server has its specifics, and with a range of different types of attacks going around, it might seem impossible to defend yourself against all of them. Still, you can do a lot of secure your server against these attacks and mitigate the risk that malicious hackers target your server. This report will demonstrate how to configure servers for maximum security and to protect them from attacks. So when it comes to the installation part, the hardened machine, first we will select an operating system to harden. In my case, I chose a Linux operating system, Ubuntu 16.04, since Linux is the most commonly used operating system in servers by many organizations. I will first install the Linux operating system as a virtual machine using VirtualBox, which is a virtualization software. The first step will be create a virtual machine, then install the Ubuntu operating system, later using the downloaded ISO as shown in the following slide. So in here I have installed the victim Ubuntu OS in the Oracle Virtual Manager. So you can see the slide. So these are the slides of the installation process. So Ubuntu. So I have successfully installed the Ubuntu, and here in this slide you can see the installation is complete, and now hardened machine is ready. This screen is demonstrating that. So when it comes to installation, so the vital part is the attack machine. The first victim operating system has been installed successfully. This is the machine that we will be hardening using the 8 hardening techniques in this report. The next step will be create the attack machine. For this we will install Kali virtual machine. Kali is an operating system mainly used for the penetration testing by professionals and cybersecurity experts. To install it, we will download ready virtual image from the official Kali site, which will save us time since it is already pre-installed. The following slides will demonstrate the installation process. Yeah, so I have successfully installed the Kali Linux 2022 VirtualBox AMD. So in here the now attack machine is ready. So when it comes to the introduction, once installation of the two machines, harden and attack machine, is complete, we can now commence on the hardening of the victim machine. So hardening is the process of making use of security measures and patching of operating systems to make systems more resilient to attacks. In this report, we will make use of 8 hardening techniques to make our Linux system more secure. So, installing updates. So, the first one is installing updates and patches. So, in here you can see I have installed all the patches. From the scan from the previous slide, we can see that machine is vulnerable to 79 kernel exploits and 49 user space exploits. These exploits vary from privilege escalation, denial of services, and other vulnerabilities arising from misconfigurations or vulnerabilities in the kernel. To fix these vulnerabilities, we can install security patches and updates which will install fixes to the operating system, making it more secure and more resilient to attacks. So in this screen, you can see that update in APT repositories. So the second hardening technique is the SSH key pair. So SSH is an acronym for Secure Shell. This is cryptographic protocol for operating network service securely over an unsecure network. It is most common for allowing users to remotely log into machines and run commands on the target system. SSH is very popular and it is used to remotely manage over 80% of servers worldwide. In here, the screenshot of that SSH key pair, installing SSH key pair. The third one is disabling SSH root login. Root is the most privileged user in Unix and Linux. This is an account for administrators and has the highest access right on the system. This user can create, access, edit and delete any file on the system. In case a malicious actor steals a password and logs into a remote machine, SSH as root, the result would be catastrophic as the attacker would have unlimited access to the machine. So this is the process done by the disabling SSH root login. So in here I have edited the config file to disable root login. So now in this slide, now root login no longer works. You can clearly see that. The fourth method of the hardening technique is the disabling SSH password authentication. To make our machine even more resilient to attacks, we could disable passwords authentication so that only login using a private key are accepted. Disabling password authentication and blank password. So this is the slide that password based logins are now disabled. The fifth hardening technique is changing default ports, and you can clearly see that I have changed the default port to 2222. In the change in the default port for service helps prevent automated attacks such as brute force attacks or dictionary attacks. The sixth one will be the unattended upgrades and updates. Regular updates and patches are essential when it comes to keeping a server updated and secure from attacks. However, it can be tedious and time-consuming to do regular updates manually. Unattended upgrades help in keeping the computer current with the latest security and other updates automatically. So the following slide shows how to configure unattended upgrades. So here I have installed unattended upgrades. So in this screenshot, you can see editing the config file and enabling the security updates. So I have enabled mail notifications. So enabling auto upgrades. The seventh one will be the installing fail to ban. Fail to ban is a security tool used mainly in Linux systems that scans log files and bans IP that show malicious intent, such as too many password failures, seeking for exploit, brute force, etc. And fail to ban is also used to update firewall rules to reject the LPS for a specified period of time. Also allows to create jails with configurations for protocols such as HTTP, FTP, SSH, etc. for a jail to take effect at the setting enable equal true rate. And this screenshot will clearly show that creating a local configuration file from the global config file and setting the log level to info, configuring the ban time, find time, max retires, and after that restarting the server so that the changes can take effect. So the last hardening technique will be the Uncomplicated Firewall Ufw is a firewall tool utility installed by default on Ubuntu. Ufw enables system administrators and users to create custom rules that explicitly allow or deny certain connections. When combined with fail to ban, they can work together to help create a safe and secure system. And especially Ufw allows users to specify connections, port service, IP addresses, IP address ranges, etc. to be allowed or denied. So this will be the screenshot of the last firewall, uncomplicated firewall screenshots. So in here specifying an IP range from SSH. And for the conclusion, while prevention is a vital aspect of a security, detection must be taken into consideration. The security industry has switched focus from attack prevention to attack detection. So the significance of this study is to help create secure systems that are resilient to attacks. With those few remarks, I would like to thank you for your time and listening to my presentation, and especially thank for my lecturer Anthony Omas for contributing his valuable service of his hard work, and wishing him good luck, and thank you. This is my presentation. Thank you.